So starting off, firstly, I'd like to talk about the tourism product. Let's talk about Fiji as a destination and the product. Today, this presentation, we will start off by talking about the components of the destination, which are namely the 4As as I have just explained. Then we will move on to analyze each component and talk about them individually, observe certain visual examples of each segment of a tourism product, and look at a few video examples of the components of a destination. After, we will illustrate how these components interact in certain levels of the product here in Fiji, explain how they are interdependent, and give a visual example of this interaction and interdependence on each other here in Fiji, as Fiji is our choice of destination. Lastly, we will discuss the importance of the 4As to the development of tourism in Fiji. We will tie all this together in this presentation to give you a better idea of why the 4 components are integral to the development of tourism in Fiji. So firstly, let's talk about the 4 components. What are the 4 components? These are amenities, attractions, access, and ancillary services. What is a destination? The destination is the base of a holiday where the consumption of the tourism product starts. A country that attracts visitors and uses its resources to market its appeal or to market its attractions in other regions around the world can be classified as a destination. We will look at the first component, which is amenities. So, some literature for amenities. Like I have previously just said, it provides the base for tourists to engage in the process of staying. However, the difference with just the classification of a destination is that with amenities, this is where the guest or tourist is based, and this is where all of the activities that he or she will undertake while on their holiday, this is where it all starts. So the accommodation and associated services that are provided to tourists form part of the amenities. So not only accommodation, then you have your restaurants, you have shopping facilities, and forms of entertainment. Firstly, we'll talk about the accommodation sector. I'd like to start off by talking a little bit about characteristics of accommodation. Some of the characteristics of accommodation, as we have already discussed in TS 106, are seasonality, occupancy levels that are used to describe or define accommodation. Secondly, the location dictates the volume and demographics of the guests. So certain locations around Fiji would attract certain type of customer. Say, for example, 5-star resorts such as Wakaya Club and Namale would attract exclusive guests of a different spending caliber to guests that would go to, say, Yasawa Islands and places like Beachcomber or Walu Beach Resort, and guests who would some guests who would go to Denarau Island today, as we have already observed in our class, that the level of tourists that the Denarau Island now attracts is a lot different to what it used to be about 5-6 years ago. Now we attract more of the middle-aged income earners from Australia who are able to afford holidays to Denarau Island because of the special packages that are available through these hotels. And lastly, Fiji's accommodation sector is categorized as the serviced accommodation. So looking at serviced accommodation quickly, these are some of the serviced accommodation facilities in Fiji. We have hotels, that some of them are Tanoa, Holiday Inn, Sugamoto Inn. We have resort and accommodation, like I've just said. We have the Sheraton and Westin on Denarau, and Shangri-La, the Fijian, on the Coral Coast. And we also have budget accommodation. some of the budget niches are Smuggler's Cove and Beach House at Smuggler's Cove in Wailoloa in Nandi, Beach House at the Coral Coast, and Nandi Bay, which is also in Wailoloa, very famous hotels. Some important factors to take into consideration. The accommodation segment plays a critical role in fulfilling the holiday experience. Why do I say that? Is because this is the first impression that a lot of visitors form of a destination when they come and experience the accommodation product that they have paid for. Depending on the level of service and the level of hospitality that the guests are exposed to, this is how they form an image of a destination in their mind. So if they get excellent levels of service and quality, then obviously they will have very good things to say about Fiji. Some examples of, like I've just said, some examples of holidays here. We have some photos of the Holiday Inn, the West Inn, and the last one is Smuggler's Cove at night. It's a very pretty sight. This is just a short video. I'd like to demonstrate why people come to Fiji. This is just in a bottle. This is what the tourism product in Fiji is all about. This is the service that people, this is the smile and the quality that people come to for Fiji. This is what attracts people to Fiji. So I will play a short video now. So that is just to give you an idea of the tourism product. That is actually the Radisson here on Denarau in Fiji Islands, and there's just a short video to demonstrate how the Radisson combines all of the four components of a destination to provide the ultimate experience to their guests. As you may have noticed, they have snippets of the services that they offer, the accommodation services that they offer, the food and beverage facilities, some transportation, the Bula bus that goes all around Denarau Islands, and they also showed snippets of activities that are available at the Radisson Fiji. So that, in a nutshell, is the perfect experience that guests come to. Visitors to Fiji come to experience. Next, I'd like to talk about the second segment of amenities, which is restaurants, shopping, and entertainment. Here we have some photos of Port Denarau and the very famous fire dancing ceremony that happens at the Shangri-La every week. This is a very major attraction on the Coral Coast, and these guys put in a lot of hard work and effort. And I've seen this show firsthand, and I can tell you it's an experience. So if you ever get the opportunity to, please go ahead and try and experience this, because it's a sight. Next, I'd like to just show you a short self video on the accommodation and amenities sectors. This is a short video I took at the Sheraton Fiji here in Denarau, just to show you a visual example again of the accommodation product.
Hi guys, here I am at the Sheraton Fiji in Nandi in Denarau Island, to give you a first-hand experience and a first-hand example. And accommodation is a very big sector of that component. Coming back to the Sheraton Fiji, this multinational hotel has been around in Fiji for well over 30 years. They have gone through, look, and I think they even spent a lot of resources on their service. Just to give you a quick look around. We have restaurants. My apologies if you can't really hear me very well. It's a bit open and it's a bit hard to speak out loud here. That's the front. I'm sorry, that's